What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you saw the title. We're talking about some cologne fragrances that are just absolute banging. We've got a variety of different brands here, from some Alhambra / Lattafa. We've got Paris Corner, Lucianno, Armaf, Dumont. A lot of brands are featured here. Ophidian. Some really good options. I actually excluded the one that I'm going to wear today. And because for those of you who didn't know, I'm going to wear Supremacy Not Only Intense from Ophidian today. I'm just in the mood. Talked about it in yesterday's video, and I was like, yeah, need to wear that. So that one's not in here, but quick honorable mention, Ophidian Supremacy Not Only Intense is amazing, in case you didn't hear. So we're going to dive into these 10. These are strong recommendations for me if you're interested in picking up some new affordable clones that smell incredible, whether it be from just they smell good and they perform well and they're cheap, to they're pretty accurate depictions of what they're similar to. So let's talk about them. Stay tuned. Starting with one that you can get in that low $20 price point. If you like Iris, you'll probably like Valencia Uomo Intense. So similar to Valentino Uomo Intense. Now this is closer to the older formula that didn't have the nutmeg spice of the newer versions, which I do have the newer version of Uomo Intense. And it's pretty dang close, where if you were to just remove that nutmeg spice, that prominent spiciness in the new version, you're left with this, that sweet vanilla, soft leather, powdery iris. Just phenomenal stuff if you're a fan of designer type iris fragrances. It's real bang for your buck for those of you that enjoy that powdery smell. This is just some good stuff. Has a little bit of class and elegance to it. Great for the cooler weather. Great for evenings. This is an average to above average performer in that 6, 7, 8 hour range in longevity. And like I said before, it's quite cheap. It's Valencia Uomo Intense. Now this is one that I got from Paris Corner recently that's supposed to be in the vein of Blue Moon Ginger from Kilian. I haven't smelled the original. I don't care how accurate it is, but as a standalone, it's absolutely phenomenal. This is Moscow Mule from Paris Corner. First of all, love the frosted glass with the blue juice. This is going to be kind of in that vein. The opening's kind of like Nautical Voyage. You'll see a lot of people comparing it to that. Obviously, this is a much deeper fragrance with more going on. You have a spicy green minty feel to this one, ginger, stuff like that going on. A lot of elements that aren't in Nautical Voyage, but I understand the relation to the opening, the way the citrus is and that watery, fresh smell. Yeah, it's got that same thing going, but again, deeper nuances to this. Very green, spicy, all that good stuff. Nice and musky as it dries. Has a little bit of zest to it. Quite nice. Around 6 hours in longevity. Again, I don't know how accurate it is, but it's kind of irrelevant when it comes to just it smells incredible. You know, that's the most important thing. Do you really like how it smells? And my answer to that is abso-freaking-lutely. This is amazing. I also have Appletini from this line, which is also incredible. It's supposed to be apple brandy on the rocks. It smells like boozy boss bottled intense EDP to me. Win-win for either one of those fragrances. So 2 for 2. I still need to try the third one in this line. So I would strongly encourage, if you're looking for an incredible fresh fragrance with some decent staying power, you might want to look into Paris Corner's Moscow Mule. Now, speaking of Paris Corner, this has gotten a lot of traction here in the last 2 years, I would say. YSL Baby Cat, personal favorite in my collection. I do have the original, and as far as locking down the scent profile, this is extremely close. It can't touch the level of quality. Let's call it what it is. You're paying more for the YSL, you're going to get more when it comes to quality with the YSL. But as far as relatability to the Accords, Rifaaqat from Paris Corner nails the Baby Cat scent profile. Smoky, spiced, woodsy vanilla. Based around vanilla, it's a wispy, incensey type of smell. And it's so beautiful. You get a little sweet from the pink pepper mixing with the black pepper, so you get this sweet peppered spice. Man, this is so good. It really is. I smelled this before I ever smelled Baby Cat, and I was like, wow. If this is that good, the original must be amazing. And yeah, the original is amazing. I had a decant first. Now I'm fortunate enough to have a bottle, but that stuff's pricey. And you know what? It's rare that I would say there's good enough situations. It does happen with clones. This is good enough. It is. It really is. I would strongly encourage it. Look, the Baby Cat profile is not for everybody, but if you like smoky vanillas, it's one of the best ones I've ever smelled. And this performs great. It's Rifaaqat from Paris Corner. Fresh green, fruity, woodsy. Everybody likes greenly, most people anyways. And Fragrance World really like got close here. They did. This is in their French Avenue range. This is called Aether. So Aether on a test strip, virtually identical. When you get them on skin, cheap cedar. You know, that's the difference here. The cedar wood note between the two is different in quality. Outside of that, pretty much the same experience. So if you're not a fan of that cheap, sharp cedar smell in certain high-level synthetics, because this is a higher level of synthetics, some cheap oils. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's some supernatural smell and fragrance, which greenly isn't. That's just higher quality synthetics. It's still synthetics. But as far as relatability, super close. This one's another good average range performer in that 6-hour range. This is one that's kind of easy to know goes nose blind too, at least in my experience. So be wary of that. If you're like, after 30 minutes or an hour, I can't smell it. It's your nose. I go with that. I have that issue as well. So it's one to keep in mind. You may not experience it. Just know, try not to spray directly under where your sense of smell is going to be, and you probably have a better chance of fighting against that kind of stuff. That's why I tend to do back of the neck, side of the neck. I'll do forearms from time to time, stuff like that. But this is one of the better clones that I've gotten in a long time. I've praised this one on the channel, and I'll continue to do so. It's Fragrance World's French Avenue Aether. Now, this one from Dumont is... You'll definitely smell Baccarat Rouge 540, but it's actually more a representation of Electimus Trajan, which smells like Baccarat Rouge 540, with a bunch of citrus and a dominant oak moss, whereas this versus Trajan is even more oak moss. This is Celestia in the Tresador line from Dumont. This line as a whole, this and the Barouge line, is some of the best stuff that Dumont's ever done. I highly encourage checking out the Tresador line and the Barouge line, but this one in particular, I know some people, just like with Aventus, there's BR 540 fatigue, and not everybody wants it, but this is such a really good representation. The quality here is actually better than most of the fragrances I'm featuring in this list today. That's why I'm praising this particular line. Quality build from the bottle, heavy cap. You really get your money's worth in the presentation. And then on top of that, it performs phenomenally. One of the best performers in this video among this list of fragrances. And pretty accurate. Again, I would say the only difference between this and Trajan from Electimus is this is heavier on the oak moss and the dry down, but you still get that burnt sugared sweetness of Baccarat Rouge 540 with a variety of citruses to freshen up and kind of make the opening a bit more juicy versus something like BR 540. Just a phenomenal option from them. In the Tresador line from Dumont, this is Celestia. Now, not one-to-one with Absolute Aventus, but Armaf's Club de Nuit Precious #1 is one of their better releases in quite some time. This is the start of a line, because notice it's got the Roman numeral #1 at the bottom. So I'm expecting this to be a line of fragrances. They used better oils than they typically do with their Club de Nuit line. So this does smell of higher quality, obviously not on par with Creed. But as far as the profile, citrus, fruity, woodsy, spicy, aromatic. I get more woodiness out of this than I do out of Absolute Aventus. And it's just absolutely stunning. This is... like I said, this is one of the best fragrances I think Armaf's ever put out, at least of what I've tried. Love the bottle presentation as well. I believe it's like a 55 ml. Yeah, 55 ml. It is an extrait de parfum. It acts as such. You get great longevity. It does have really good sillage. Pretty good projection, not overwhelmingly strong, but it lingers and it trails. That's where your room filling capabilities are, is it's going to stay put lingering in the air because it's a more dense aroma that's kind of surrounding you. Just a beautiful option. I would highly encourage checking this one out. Again, from Armaf, this is Club de Nuit Precious #1. Now, in regards to this, I haven't tried Le Labo Another 13. My main man, Kix Griffey's sending me a decant. So I do have one in the mail coming my way, so I can check on how close it is to it. But as a standalone, Soothing Zephyr from Paris Corner is one of the best clone fragrances I've picked up this year. And it's not even close. This is in the top 5 for sure. Honestly, like 3 of my 5 favorites this year are Paris Corner fragrances. They have greatly stepped their game up to compete with the Fragrance Worlds and the Lattafas and the Afnans and Armafs and so on. And this one in particular is a beautiful, fruity, ambery, spiced, musky Ambroxan fragrance. Based around Ambroxan, you can go nose blind to this. Super versatile stuff. The fruitiness here is based around pear, so it's not a sweet fruit, it's a fresh fruit. Again, you have, I believe, ambrette that gives it this muskiness. There's a spiciness here as well. Again, nice and warm, warm yet fresh. This is a great, I mean fantastic, everyday option for somebody that doesn't mind Ambroxan. If you're a fan of stuff like that, I like Ambroxan. One of the proud. Dior Sauvage, everything under the sun that smells like it. I'm down with that kind of stuff. And this doesn't smell like Sauvage, but it does smell like a lot of Ambroxan. So be wary of that. So nose fatigue is a real issue. Those of you that are sensitive to it might get headaches. So know your sensitivity level to Ambroxan. But if you enjoy it, this is one of the better ones I've come across. I can't wait to try the niche that it's cloning with Le Labo, because if the clone's that good, the original must be phenomenal. That's usually the case. Because this is damn good. This is like 9 out of 10 stuff for me. It's that good. Strongly encourage you checking this one out if you don't want to spend Le Labo prices. This is from Paris Corner. This is called Soothing Zephyr. Now, Louis Vuitton fragrances are super expensive. What this is cloning, I have the original too. It's the only bottle I've bought from Louis Vuitton. And I paid over $300. And we're talking Pacific Chill, that beautiful tropical citron apricot fruity fresh fragrance. Well, Lucianno's Coastal Breeze is a great representation of it. I wear this more than the original. I do have the original literally right here within arm's reach. It is absolutely similar. Now, this is higher quality than this. You can't expect it to match the $300 luxury fragrance. But as far as getting close in profile, it gets you there. Quality, it does not. Performance, kind of what and what, around 6 hours. It's fruity, fresh, sweet, a little exotic because it's based around stuff like apricot, not your run-of-the-mill note that you'll see in a unisex, slightly masculine-leaning fresh fragrance. So enjoyable, though. My God, is this so enjoyable. This is almost like a must-buy for those of you that like to get a lot of clones. This is a top of the list kind of clone, so definitely worth checking out. It's Lucianno's Coastal Breeze. And last but not least, Paris Corner released a line called Ophidian. All three are good. Sweet Treat or Sweet Surrender. Sweet Surrender is the one my wife took hold of. It's based around caramel. It smells amazing on her. The two I kept are the God of Fire clone Mango Bliss, and this is supposedly Guerlain's Cherry Oud, which I need to try the original. Oh my. This black cherry fragrance is absolutely stunning. I wore this one about a handful of days ago. Dark, somewhat sour, because it's a black cherry note, not a sour cherry note, but I get a little bit of sour. Smoky, spicy, ambery. Oh. Now, not something on par with like a French Defense from Mind Games. Some of you that watch the channel, you've heard me praise that every which way. That's one of the greatest things ever. I just love me some French Defense. That's the GOAT of cherry fragrances in my mind. I really need to try the original to this, the Guerlain that it's duping, because this is, I don't want to say work of art because it's a clone, because it's ripping off art. That's what clones are. Call a spade here. So some people really hate that, and I understand that. But man, if you just judge it as a standalone, this is not gourmand type delicious, but still delicious nonetheless, if that makes sense. You heard that click into place. This stuff, not every cap works that way. I've seen some people have some issues with caps. One of mine, Sweet Surrender, the plastic kind of slides a little bit when you try to pull it, but this one, nice and sturdy and strong. Interesting looking bottle. The line as a whole is 3 home run fragrances if you just judge them for smelling good, performing well, not being expensive, and having kind of cool looking bottles. They check all of the boxes. I would strongly encourage checking out one of the 3 depending on your taste, because if you like tropical mango fragrances, Mango Bliss is for you. If you want a sweet treat that's very gourmand, caramel, vanilla, you're going to want Sweet Surrender, I believe is the one that my wife took. And then Black Cherry, my favorite of the bunch, supposed to be Guerlain's Cherry Oud. I need to try Guerlain's Cherry Oud because Paris Corner, I don't know if it's accurate, but just as a fragrance, it's not quite mind-blowing, but close. It's damn good. It really is. Ophidian Black Cherry from Paris Corner. Well, that's the 10 that I wanted to discuss with you today. And until next time, do me a quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of the 10 that I featured here, which ones have you tried? What do you think about them? Hits, misses, in between? All good. Keep it respectful and let me know down below. I sure appreciate you guys checking out the video. There's links down below in the video description box. Some of the stuff you'll have options through YouTube. It depends on what places like FragranceNet and all those have available. But I'll definitely have Fragrance Buy links down below if you guys want to check any of these out. Obviously, no obligation. I appreciate the support and you watching the video. And until next time, if you give these a spray, you never know. You might end up thanking me later. Y'all have a good one.